I'm now going to show you how to fold the cubes that are used in this project. Remember, the project is to create a puzzle piece that consists of 4 cubes. We're going to fold just 1 cube, and you're going to repeat that process 4 times. I'm going to begin by using a template. This template has been printed on a standard sheet of typing paper. I suggest that you use heavier typing paper. This happens to be 32 pound. You can use 28 pound or 24 pound, and it'll probably work just as well. I would stay away from the real flimsy paper, as that doesn't make a very good cube. Standard paper can be bought in reams, and it's much more inexpensive than buying origami paper. I have actually printed the pattern on the paper. The print consists of red lines and blue lines. The red lines are to be folded as a mountain fold. You can think of that, remember that by saying Blue Ridge Mountain. The red lines are the valley folds, and you can remember that as Red River Valley. I'm going to first score all these lines before I even cut out the shape. My shape is a rectangle, and the rectangle has 5 squares going down and 7 squares going across. That's 5 down and 7 across. And you're going to fold all edges of that grid. So let's begin by marking off or scoring the grid. I do this before I cut out my rectangle. I find that I want to go all the way across the squares, all the way across the rectangle. So it's best to do that before you cut out the rectangle. You notice that I do the horizontal and vertical lines first. When I'm scoring, I'm using a darning needle to do my scoring. I always pull the darning needle in the same direction with a slight angle towards the paper, so it will not tear the paper as you do your scoring. After I've done the horizontal and vertical lines, I want to do the diagonal lines. Again, I'm always pulling in one direction. You want to move the paper around so it's comfortable to do the scoring. So when I do these lines, I move the paper around so it's more comfortable for me to do that scoring. You're going to be doing a number of these cubes, and you might tend to forget and miss some of these lines because it's easy to forget it. If you turn the paper over and take a look, you can see where the scoring is just very lightly on the paper. Now you probably can't see this in the video, but you can actually feel them on the other side of the paper. So that's a good way to check to see you've got all the lines scored. Next, when I've got all the lines scored, I want to cut out the rectangle. So I'm going to cut out the area around the rectangle. So I have just my 5 by 7 rectangle. You probably want to take your time on doing this cutting because you want it to be fairly exact. I'm doing it rather fast and perhaps a little bit sloppily. You should be a little bit more careful than I am. You can also use a rolling cutter to give you a nice straight line as long as you land up right on the line. And there's my 5x7 rectangle that has already been scored. I'm going to throw away these extra sheets of paper. The next we're going to start the folding process. And I'm going to fold these horizontal lines first. You want to orient the paper so it's the long way. You want to take the edge of the paper and fold it up to the very first line. This will create a line all the way across the paper. Don't worry that it doesn't match all the lines underneath. When we are finished, this will be a valley fold and this will be a mountain fold. But for now we're going to make it all one valley fold all the way across. Then I'm going to fold this edge of the paper back to meet this edge of the paper. Make it match very closely. Then I turn the paper around, unfold the creases I just made, and repeat the process on the bottom. Fold up to the very last line, fold back to the bottom line, to the bottom edge. Now we want to make sure that these two edges overlap. So I'm going to bring one edge over, fold the other edge on top, and bring it all together. I would like it to meet as closely as possible. You can do some minor adjusting once you've done the overlapping. And you want to try and get it meeting all the way across when there is an overlap. Next I'm going to fold some mountain folds here, 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 here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to leave these last two lines unfolded for now. And then unfold the paper. And I'm going to orient the paper in the opposite direction and bring the top down to the 1, 2, 3, 4th line, like this. And fold the paper back up to the top line, like this. Now you will notice that all the outside lines on the top and the two sides are mountain folds. You want to bring the mountain folds down to about a 90-degree angle, and you're going to pinch the corner right here and create the mountain fold from the corner here to the outer edge of the paper. Let's repeat the process on the other side. Pinch the two lines together, bring the fold to the outside line. This will create that mountain fold here and here. Now I'm going to create this valley fold right here. To do that, I'm going to bring this paper down in the previous crease a little bit. I'm going to bring this edge up to meet this edge. So it's this edge will meet this edge. I bring it up and I pinch it. And I bring the paper together. I continue to bring the paper together and push this edge down flat. As I do, it pulls this part of the paper down, and I'm going to flatten it out, and you will see that it's forming the end of the T. Now I'm going to undo that and repeat the process on the other side. 90-degree angles going down. Pinch on the corner, bring it out to the corner. I've already done that. I then bring this edge up to this edge, very carefully. You might want to pause a little bit right here and see that this is 90 degrees and this is 90 degrees here. Then continue on pushing this paper down and squashing the paper flat. There I have the other side of the T. Now I bring the two sides of the T together. Let's recreate those folds on one side and bring the two sides together, and there is our T shape. To complete the cube, refold the mountain folds all the way around. Take the bottom part of the paper and tuck it into the pocket on the top of the T. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to take it apart and repeat that process. Mountain fold all the way around, forming a nice square shape. Tuck this in to the top of the T. I'm now going to take the top of the T and wrap it around the cube, starting by folding down on one side, folding up and over the top, folding down on the other side, folding up and over the top, and you can see that it's starting to form the T shape. You want to pinch all the edges at the corners to establish where the corners of the cube will occur. Finally, I'm going to take and tuck this pointed edge into the cube. Now you might find that you're able to do this without opening the cube, but you may need to open the cube to do this. Let's first try to do it without opening the cube and see what happens. I might need to open this pocket a little bit so I can get in there. Push it in as far as you can go. In this case, it happens to go in fairly easily. You might find that there's some resistance to that, and you might have to open up the cube in order to get it in there. I'm going to try it on the other side, see what kind of luck I have on this side. Open up the pocket a little bit. Stick it all the way in. And this one's a little bit tougher to get in all the way in. I want to make sure that I can get it in as far as possible into the cube. And there is our completed cube. Now we need to fold 4 of these. I've already folded these 4, and we'll go to the next step.